seat taken?
Nobody's in the seat that I ain't taking, friend.
So this is, Sabacc?
Sabacc.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Sabacc the Block, the official First Cut Star Wars show. We are back on another Thursday night here to talk about all the Star Wars news and goodies. I am here with a very special guest from the Resistance broadcast. Lacey Gilleran is in the house. What's up, Lacey?
Hey, everyone. I apologize in advance. I'm getting over a cold, so I have a cough drop in my mouth. But I'm so excited to be here. That intro was bomb. I'm so excited to talk Star Wars.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Obviously, we appreciate you coming on. I know you guys do a live stream on Thursdays as well, right?
We do. We record TRB live stream, which we just did earlier.
Nice.
Which I think some people are tuning in from that. So, hey, what's up, guys?
Oh.
And then we also recorded our Nerdy and Nice, which is our pop culture show for Mondays on the same night. So I've been doing a marathon today, but I'm so hyped to be here because I can never get sick of talking about Star Wars. So.
Amazing. Yeah. And we appreciate it. And obviously dealing with the cold, double cold,
Oh, yeah.
two colds. We appreciate you coming on, obviously. And you've come on before, which is awesome. So you're a returning guest. So instead of, I thought, getting into your Star Wars story, which is what we usually do with first time guests, I wanted to talk about your journey into Star Wars fandom. So by this, I mean, this is you getting online, speaking your thoughts on Star Wars, and then eventually getting into the Resistance broadcast. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so my fandom experience probably came later than most people. I used to work for Star Wars Celebration with Reed Pop years and years ago. I can't believe it. Like, we're talking like 10 years ago. Not to date myself. But so I was doing a lot of like Comic-Con stuff. And I started doing some ad space on Star Wars Newsnet. And then through them, I met John. And then one day he just texted me and was like, hey, I see you like Star Wars. Do you like want to come talk on the show one day? And I was like, what? People want to hear what I have to say about Star Wars? Now, I've loved Star Wars since second grade, so I could always talk about it. But I was like, oh my God, I was so nervous. I was like sitting there. I was like, oh my God, what if they don't like me? What if they don't agree with me? And it was like this whole thing. But ultimately, I chatted with him and James, and they were like, yeah, we'd love for you to come on. And I'm like, what? And then it just kind of went from there. And it started from me kind of joking around and, you know, thirsting after Kylo Ren to like really having meaningful conversations about Star Wars and like what Rey means to me, which I'm so hyped to be talking about Daisy Ridley on today's show.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly exciting. Obviously, that Rey panel was a lot of fun as well.
Oh my God,
and
so good. Highlight for me. Thank you so much for having me on that. It was
of course.
One of my favorite fandom moments was looking out and seeing all these people that love Rey. But then afterwards, all the girls and guys that got up that were dressed like Rey, and I got to take pictures of them, not to be like a creep, but like take pictures of them, like excited to see them just celebrating this character that it's hard sometimes to get outside your bubble and realize how much these characters impact other people until you're in the room with them. And then you're like, oh my God, we all love this character so much. So thank you for letting me be a part of that. It was definitely a highlight in my top 10 fandom moments.
Amazing. Yeah, it was so much fun. And obviously you were amazing on the panel as well.
Thanks.
All your thoughts were really well thought out and just some really good points that you made. So I appreciate it again. It was awesome. That was a lot of fun. That Anaheim whole celebration was a blast. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the next Star Wars celebration will be okay. But we will see. Let's get right to the green Psylop for today.
If you'd only had this little green Psylop.
So our Green Psylop today is all about our favorite topic, which is a topic that we always get to, but we kind of have to do it, especially with the new change in leadership. And that is the current state of Star Wars. Now, obviously, people online have talked about this ad nauseum, so we won't get necessarily into the gritty details as far as Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, and all that. But I just want to get your general thoughts as far as how are you feeling about the current state of Star Wars and where we could potentially go now that we do have new leadership with Dave Filoni.
I feel good about it. I said years ago that when Kathleen left, she was going to leave on her own terms. And I'm happy that she is. She's like, you know what? It's my time. I've done what I wanted to do. It's time for me to move on and do other things. And sometimes change, most of the time actually, change is good. So I'm excited to see where things go. I do joke a lot about how Dave Filoni throws Ahsoka into everything. So jokingly, I'm hoping he doesn't walk into meetings being like, so Ahsoka would be really good in this. Because that's my like inner headcanon that Dave Filoni walks around just trying to put Ahsoka in every single project, which I know he doesn't. It's just a joke. But no, I'm excited to see where things go. I was a little, I guess, sad, but also frustrated as a Star Wars fan when I heard all that Adam Driver, Ben Solo stuff come out. And Ben Solo was one of the best things for me, at least for the Rise of Skywalker. And I'm a strong believer from before that movie that he was going to be redeemed and things were going to work out because he was Han and Leia's son, and they wouldn't sacrifice themselves for their son that would ultimately die and not have some type of redemption. Like, what would be the point is where I kind of stood on that. So the fact that like it felt like Adam Driver was like, I want to do this. We're bringing the character back. We're all doing this together. And then Disney was like, nah, really frustrated me. So when Kathleen retired or announced her retirement, and in the interview said that she was going to, she went through some of the projects that they were working on, and she said that that was on the back burner, but didn't specify that it was canceled. I got pretty hyped. I was like, oh, so we're still in it. It's still on the dry erase board. Like, it hasn't been erased yet. And then we were just talking offline about Solo and Lando and Donald Glover handing in a script, which makes me optimistic for that. I just think there's a lot of stuff happening that we don't know about that's in the background. And I'm going to hold my judgment of new leadership until I see what they do. I can't make claims that they're going to do a bad job or a good job because I just don't know yet.
Yeah, of course. And obviously we can't make those kind of judgments, but what we can do is speculate, which is what all good Star Wars podcasts do. So how are you feeling when you mentioned changes and that changes will be good? Do you think these will be some pretty significant changes, major changes? Just because Dave Filoni has been a part of Lucasfilm for so long, I know a lot of people are feeling like maybe it'll be very similar or very same as something we've gotten before, but are you expecting some big pushes and some big dramatic changes?
No, I don't think we're going to see anything, at least in the immediate future. I think they're just going to stay the course of what the plans are for the next 2 to 3 years. I think the biggest change that we're going to see in the next few years is the Rey movie and what that could be. I have an inkling that the Simon Kinberg thing is really the next episodic story for Star Wars. I know they claim that it isn't, but it just feels like you had the Rey movie and then it got changed again and the writer switched and then this Ben Solo stuff came out. And then she's like, well, that might come up eventually later, when she's been talking on like Kelly and Mark live a couple weeks ago. It just feels like they're reworking everything. And I think that's the biggest kind of question mark for me, is where are they going with the saga films and what's Rey's story, because she is the next Jedi. She is the next character for Star Wars that needs to push the story forward. As for like Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Starfighter, I think those are pretty locked in and nothing's going to change with those. The big question is what we're going to see from Taika. What are we going to see from, Donald Glover, those types of people? I don't think we're ever going to get anything from Rian Johnson. I think that's pretty done, and I'm sorry for people that really wanted to see that. I mean, I would, but I don't think we're going to see anything big in the next few years because they just have to get through the projects that they already have on board.
Yeah, it's a good point. And I do feel feel like maybe we're gonna get like connected universe type stuff. Like Starfighter
Ooh.
leads to the Rey movie, and the Rey
Yes.
movie leads to the not Ryan, Simon Kinberg trilogy. Like
Yeah.
maybe it'll be that kind of like one, two,
I like
three.
that.
And then The Mandalorian and Grogu leads to Ahsoka season 2. Ahsoka season 2 leads to the Thrawn team up movie that we heard about years
cross-culmination
ago.
thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Dave Filoni directed Star Wars movie that we heard is like a crossover of all the TV universe stuff. So maybe those will be the two universes that they're going to show us in film, in movies.
That would be cool. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Grogu's going to eventually. We've talked about this on TRB. Is Grogu's going to eventually be with Rey at some point? Because I don't think they're going to get rid of Grogu, and he's such a popular character. Like, why wouldn't he be with Rey later? And they also have to explain where everybody's been from the Rise of Skywalker. Like, there was that big moment where, excuse me, everybody shows up, but then where were they? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I think they have to explain that in the next series of films of like, where are all these other characters that we know of from the before time?
No, yeah, I'm super interested to see how they do all that. But speaking of Rian Johnson, I know he mentioned in an article recently in an interview that he's hoping for fresh new voices and fresh new filmmakers. Lacey, I'm curious what you're hoping for from Star Wars in the future. What is a general just hope that you have?
Romance.
That's a good
I
one.
want a romantic Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get it with Rey and Kylo and Ben Solo. I didn't get it. I kind of did, but not really. And then we got it with Kira and Han, and then that didn't go anywhere. So I'm really hoping for a very kind of romantic, sweeping action adventure film. Like, that's what I love about Star Wars. And I feel like love is something on a baseline level that all of us can connect with. And they just really haven't handled it well. So I would love a romantic action adventure film.
Do you want it to be like these are like star-crossed lovers, like meant to be destiny type stuff? Or do you want it to be a little messier, like there's drama and there's another girl or there's another guy and
Love
that kind
triangle.
of stuff? Yeah.
I love an enemies to lovers. I'm a big fan of that, but I just want a good story. So I don't really care how the love happens, but I just think that we need it. I think that's what's really missing. Outside of just like a big bad villain. Right now, Thrawn is that person, for me at least, that I just want someone that I'm like, oh, they're terrible. They're not good. And I feel like Star Wars falls into that redemption, like, oh, they're not that bad. No, I just want someone that's really terrible. That like we can all unite against and be like, they're the worst.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And I'm hoping there's going to be something good coming in the future, and I'm hopeful. I know I was very negative. I can't lie. I was negative
Oh,
online.
it's okay. You can be.
when
That's the
announcement
fun of Star
happened.
Wars, by the way, is that you could be positive. I'm feeling okay right now because I've been talking about Star Wars for like 2 hours now. But there are days, like the Ben Solo day, that I was like, this is the worst. Why am I a fan? So I hear you. No worries.
When that announcement happened, I was so bummed. Maybe because I was a fan of what Kathleen was doing, a fan of the sequel trilogy, and this felt very much like we're going to move on from that kind of vibe. That's the vibe I got. And I was just lashing out online, and I was very upset. I also I'm not necessarily super on board with Filoni so far. Obviously, I'm the biggest animation fan when it comes to Rebels and Clone Wars, but the live action, I thought Ahsoka had a lot of misses in my opinion. So that's why I kind of lashed out. But then again, shout out to a friend of the show, Alex Damon, who summed it all up, what I was feeling. I was just feeling like Star Wars it seems like they were kind of leaning into playing it safe.
Catering to people that complained.
Exactly.
Catering to certain voices. I get that. I think that something that stood out to me in Kathleen's interview was that Disney needs to take more risks. And there's going to be no reward if there aren't risks involved. So I'm hoping that they trust Dave Filoni enough to let him take risks.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, Star Wars future is going to be looking good. But now we're going to move on to our next topic, which is going to be our full sabacc.
Full sabacc.
So our full Sabacc is all about the Rey movie, obviously a movie that we're both excited about. But Daisy Ridley recently was mentioning the Rey movie in a USA Today interview where she said that it's still moving on, it's still moving forward despite the leadership changes. So again, very generally, what is your current thoughts on the future of the Rey movie and what it's looking like?
I think it's a different movie than what we knew of in 2023. I think it's completely different. It's changed writers. I don't think Obey Chinoy is directing anymore. I just don't think they've announced it yet because that's kind of a big hit to a movie when they're like, the director's out, so they're going to wait until they have everything lined up. I think they've been very open with Daisy with the process because the way she talks about it so confidently that she's like, yeah, it's happening. And like we joke, she's always like, yeah, it's happening. Yeah. Like in every interview. So to me, it says that she's just like moving forward with whatever the plan is. And she believes in it. It's like she knows a basic gist of where the story is going to go. So I trust that if Daisy signed up, that it's going to be good.
Yeah, how are you feeling about if it is true, which I'm not agreeing with you necessarily, but
sure.
It's a big possibility that Charmine is out. How would you feel about that personally?
I would be disappointed because she's the one that was there from the get-go. That was like, this is my movie. This is the story I want to tell. And, you know, kind of pushing for that story. So it's disappointing to hear that that person isn't involved anymore, but it just seems like we haven't heard from her. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel like my gut is telling me like she's not in it.
That's a really good gut instinct because I do feel like she would be talking about it a little bit more. And I also feel like current Disney is not necessarily on board with trusting first-time directors. Like this would be her first-time feature film. She's on obviously documentary films, but when it comes to a fiction story, she hasn't necessarily done that. And I feel like maybe Disney leadership is thinking about a director who has a lot more experience. Who has delivered on money, which is what Sean Levy has done. So Sean Levy wasn't doing a Star Wars movie, then hit big with Deadpool, made Disney a ton of money, and they said, do you want to do Star Wars? And he was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So hopefully if she is out, which to be honest, I would be very disappointed, they would replace her with someone who has a unique voice and has something to say and not just someone who's going to just
make them
do
money.
Do whatever the production says, do whatever Disney says, because that would be disappointing. But I briefly mentioned what I think the Rey movie could be, but what do you think the Rey movie could be? And do you feel like it will lead to the next phase of Star Wars?
Well, I want to hear what you think. What's your theory of what it could be?
What I previously mentioned, I think it'll lead. I think Starfighter is going to go to the Rey movie. And I think
right.
The Rey movie will lead to the Simon Kinberg trilogy. Like one of the kids there, I'm assuming it's going to be a young cast, no names probably, and that it'll be Rey being like literally passing the baton or passing the lightsaber down to a new generation of Star Wars kids or Star Wars young people, I guess.
Right.
And that'll be what her film does.
I love that. I mean, it's tough because I feel like the Damon Lindelof one was going to be Rey much older doing that. And then they were like, we can't just ditch Daisy Ridley. What are you doing? And so they were like, next. I think it's going to be obviously her training people. I hope she does get to tell a story though. And I really want her to fall in love. I want her to have a happy ending where she gets to have a family. And someone had brought it up, I believe, during our panel in London Celebration. Someone had asked in the audience, like, do you think Rey would have kids? And I was like, I actually love that for her. And not as a, hey, she has to have kids because that's the next progression for a woman. I mean it as she was robbed of her childhood. So the idea that she then gets to make a family on her own terms, to me, feels like a great story for her and a great empowerment moment of like, you didn't break me. I still went on to have a happy life. And then also her changing the idea of what a Jedi is, because the whole like non-attachment thing, it just always bothered me because I was like, you can still love someone and be a good person. So I'm not a big fan of that. And I know some people are, but I'm not. but yeah, I would love to see her go on an adventure. And also the idea of her having kids or being in charge of kids would add some high risk to the story of what's involved.
That's great. I love that. And also I really agree with you when it comes to the Jedi stuff, because I feel like reinterpreting what a Jedi means is very important right now in Star Wars, in my opinion, because I feel like if anything we've seen from recent media, whatever people's thoughts are on the Acolyte, there is a lot to say there. And even probably George would agree that there's a lot of mistakes that the Jedi, I mean, they say it in The Last Jedi. Luke says it a million times. Like, we made a massive mistake and we made so many mistakes. Can we change what
everybody
that
makes
means?
Mistakes. Good guys, bad guys, like, everybody. The
Jedi Order was very much kind of stuck in their ways, I guess, and what they thought, you know, the right thing was to do. And Rey being the one to change that would be really cool. I think that'd be something really special.
Which, going back to The Last Jedi, the moment where Yoda is speaking to Luke and he goes, "She has everything she needs," to me is like, she's what's next. It's time to let go and just let her do her own thing. Yeah. And so whether it's kids, whether it's romance, whatever, I just want the next movie with Rey to be her story. Because even in the sequel trilogy, where she was the main character and she was what was next, I felt like we were just constantly watching someone deal with legacy and deal with someone else's adventures and someone else's conflicts. And I mean, the fact that we don't get to see her fight with her yellow lightsaber, like, drives me bananas, because that is the coolest. And I will fight people on TikTok about this. It is the coolest lightsaber of all the lightsabers, with the switch ignition, with the different colors. It is the coolest. I wish it was a double lightsaber, because we see that in the Force Awakens with her saber, or not her saber, her staff. So it just made sense in the progression of her training that it would go there. But yeah, I just hope that she gets to have her adventure, her story.
Yeah, and I obviously I nodded so much because that's my favorite lightsaber. I love that. I legitimately was thinking today that I will get that tattooed on me. I want.
Oh, that's such a good tattoo.
Like, legit, like something on my arm, or like, it's cool. It's just freaking cool. I love that lightsaber. That reveal is like one of my favorite moments in The Rise of Skywalker, when she ignites it for the first time, and it's that yellowish, goldish color. I was like, oh, you got me.
It goes from blue to green to yellow in the ignition part. Yeah, so cool.
It's amazing. But yeah, I'm hopeful for the Rey movie. I do feel like, I hope, like you said, everything you said is spot on. They give it to her, that they don't just necessarily make it about, you know, it's Rey's in it, but she's, you know, like a side character. I really hope it's her movie. I think that's important. And part of me, like you said in the beginning, you never know, it's going to lead into the Ben Solo movie. What? They brought it back, maybe?
I'd love that too. But if he's not in it, it better be all her.
Yeah, I agree. But I do hope, I do hope it does lead to more beautiful stories. And I do hope that, you know, Disney treats it with the amount of respect that it deserves. Because if you do let a filmmaker bring in their voice, let them bring in their voice and speak up. And
please don't like Marvelize it, as we've been using loosely on the internet. Please don't make this like a cookie cutter ABC
4-quadrant
story. Like,
status
take some
quo.
risks. Risk should be the theme of all Star Wars. Be the trendsetters. Don't follow in other people's footsteps. And the example I've been giving for the past like 8 months is K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, nobody thought that was going to do well, and it killed it, and it's still killing it because it's original, it's different, it's new, it's unique. It does something that nobody else is doing, and that's what Star Wars should be doing. I'm not saying with songs, I'd watch it, but I'm not saying with songs, like, just find storytellers that want to tell their story and let them tell it.
Exactly. Yeah. And let them express what they want to express, because I feel like, especially when it comes to big budget movies, that's the biggest fear. But the biggest examples we're seeing now of big successful movies, and obviously Ryan Coogler is at the top with Sinners, is showing you that fun, original, creative, filmmaker-centered films are what really is bringing audiences back into theaters. So,
I mean,
crossed.
Black Panther, he killed it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was an era of Marvel where, I mean, I talked about it last week, where I feel like that's when Kevin Feige was trusting his filmmakers and directors.
Yes.
And recently,
Yes.
it doesn't feel that way. So,
Oh my God, that shot where the camera comes in upside down and they flip it around. Oh, one of my favorite shots ever in all film.
So good.
it's amazing. Yeah, I love it. Let's finish up real quick, Lacey. I know you're a big Force Awakens fans, and it's obviously we share the connection with our love for Rey. Some of your favorite Force Awakens moments, and before we get to it, because obviously we can name a few, I want to just take me back to 2015 and just heading into the Force Awakens, that opening night. That's the kind of vibe I want to go in with this conversation. How are you feeling, and how'd you feel watching the movie and obviously coming out of the movie?
The Force Awakens is my favorite one of the sequel trilogy.
Nice.
No surprise. I've been pretty open about that. The time period after The Force Awakens, leading up to The Last Jedi, is my favorite time period in fandom. Like, the idea that everyone was like, where is this going, was so fun. It was the best time for merch. Like, when they first started coming out with merch, I found a Stormtrooper, like, I think 3 days before the movie came out, and they, like, sold it to me, and it was, like, the biggest deal ever for me. I was like, oh, my God, because you couldn't get them. And, like, when I rang it up at the register, like, a thing that said, like, don't sell before then, but they were dumb, and they did it anyway. But, like, the hype around merch was, like, a whole event, like a midnight thing. But the movie itself was, I mean, life-changing. I had been a Star Wars fan my whole life, and for a while I thought that that was never going to happen again, like going to a movie like that. And I remember being in the theater and just sitting there and being like, I'm watching a Star Wars movie. I'm watching an effing Star Wars movie. Oh my God. Freaking out. And then watching the whole movie, loving every minute, loving the reveal of the Millennium Falcon, loving seeing Harrison Ford back. I do remember when Kylo kills Han, the room went silent when he, like, it was and goes through his whole body, goes silent, and I just went, no. I just was like, no, because I had no idea, didn't even consider it happening. That one hurt, but then I remember that first reveal when Rey grabs the lightsaber. My initial reaction was, oh, this is where Luke shows up. When the lightsaber goes flying, I was like, here he is. Here's the moment. And when Rey caught it, it was, I know I just said this before, but like literally life-changing. Rey is a character that I always wanted but never had. Growing up, you know, you have Luke Skywalker and Leia and Han, and Leia and Luke were my favorites. But the fact that Rey was the Jedi, Rey had the Force, Rey was the one fighting. I mean, as a woman that loves Star Wars her entire life, I had tears in my eyes. I was like, this changes everything for me. And it was before I podcasted, before I did anything. It was just me in a pure fandom moment of, this is what 7-year-old Lacey would have wanted. And the fact that I'm a mom now and I have a daughter, I am so thoroughly excited for her to experience that the first time. And I've been very protective of that moment of like her experiencing Star Wars. She hasn't watched any of them yet, but I'm waiting till she's old enough to like really understand, because I want her to like have that moment. I'm probably building it up too much. No offense, Daisy. If my daughter's name's Daisy, by the way, if she ever experiences this or watches this, I'm sorry I built this up so much, but it just makes me very happy. Someone did spoil something to her though, because I have posters in my living room of The Force Awakens, and it's got a big Kylo Ren at the top, and it says, you know, every generation has their story, and it has Rey and everything. And I brought her in the living room, and she goes, oh, that's Darth Vader's grandson. And I looked at her and I was like, and she was like 2. And I was like, what? She was like, Kylo Ren. I was like, who told her?
Yep.
So sad. I was like, no. So I'm hoping she forgot by then. But the whole Rey moment, like, is just so magical. And I couldn't imagine anybody looking at that moment and not feeling the excitement of what's to come, of like what can come from this moment and how much it's going to build up in the idea of who else is going to have a hero moment like this. because that's what I love about Star Wars is the moments where people decide I'm going to do the right thing, regardless if it's hard, even if I might fail, I'm still going to do the right thing. And I think that's what I saw a lot of in Andor, which caught me totally off guard because it's not something I would have asked for as a Star Wars fan. I'm more of the solo skeleton crew type of girl, not the serious war stuff. But Andor, especially season 2, killed me. Like, it was so good. It was so good. It hit so hard. And it was moment after moment after moment of those perfect, like, examples of people doing the right thing. And I think more than ever, like, seeing that is just, it's the term hope. That whole series is just hope of, hey, things might be bad, but someone's going to step up and do something. And The Force Awakens is a good example of Rey doing that.
Yeah, and it's obviously done in A New Hope too. That's the whole purpose of that film, and that's why what makes Star Wars so special. And that was something I mentioned online as well. Is that Andor is beautiful, and I really do feel like it's incredibly special. But this was done back in 1977 with the original Star Wars, and that's kind of the idea behind what George was going for when it comes to the character of Luke and of Han. The fact that Han is that kind of reluctant, like, yeah, I'm gonna do my own thing. The Empire's too big, man. I can't do anything, so I just got to make money and just get out.
Get mine, yeah.
And then he realizes, like, no, this is special. Standing against this evil and this power is important, and it's special. It's something that needs to be done. So yeah, The Force Awakens. Like you said, everything you said after The Force Awakens was even better than before The Force Awakens, even though before The Force Awakens was great.
That period of just like, is she Kenobi's granddaughter? Oh my God, which, by the way, is still my headcanon, and that was a thing. But it was so fun. It was so fun. And obviously watching that in the theaters for the first time was amazing. Something I want to give a shout out to is what you said, kind of echoing what you said, but in a different manner. Obviously, I saw The Force Awakens more than any other movie I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. But the experience of watching, and I will always say this and keep this in the highest regard of like my lifetime, experiences, is watching The Force Awakens with my mom and realizing what that meant, what Daisy meant, what Rey meant to my mom was something that I've never seen before. Because she's seen all of Star Wars before, and she's seen cool superhero movies before, but she never really got that connection to like a Tony Stark or like a Thor. But she did get that connection with, or like obviously Luke, but she did get that connection with Rey, and the fact that she was experiencing it, like I saw it happen in real time, was really special for me because I understood now how special that could be to see. Oh, that's
Rey
so beautiful.
do that. Yeah,
it's so crazy how like I feel a connection to your mom now. Like it's just like one of those things that like you can't experience, you don't know until you're in it. When it's happening. Yeah. It's amazing. Some of your favorite moments, I think you named quite a few. Oh my God. The whole movie. Han death is a crazy experience watching that in theaters. Han punching someone in the face, his old man punch. Yeah. Makes me laugh. The introduction of Rey where she comes down on the rope and slides down on the sand with the beautiful John Williams song, Rey, the Rey song. The introduction of BB-8, the relationship between Rey and Finn, which originally wasn't in the film, but then Han, aka Harrison Ford, got hurt, so then they rewrote it so that they had more lines together. That to me is like such a specific foundation of that film that we almost missed out on. Like the little boyfriend, you got a boyfriend jokes, so funny. Hux's speech. Talk about a bad guy. Oh my God, that speech. Domhnall Gleeson is a vision in that moment where his eyes are just like insane, crazy terror. Just everything about that film is just so amazing. The shot going into Maz Kanata's castle, which I still think they should redo that for Disney parks. I know they blew it up like 2 seconds later, but it's still one of the coolest locations to ever exist. I mean, what are some of yours? I have so many. Oh, it's ridiculous. Like if you really go frame by frame. I mean, when even in the beginning, I'm thinking of the beginning because when Kylo stops the blaster from Poe, that moment, like everyone lost their minds. People were like, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" That was incredible. When Poe showed up and did his gangster taking down like 8
TIE Fighters was
Over
cool.
the water. The
Over
first time we
yeah.
ever saw
Yeah, I know that's one of
water.
RB3's favorite shots too, is when Poe goes hard and does his pilot stuff, and obviously it comes back to John Boyega's Finn, and he's like, "That's one hell of a pilot." I was like, "Yo, this is crazy. It's amazing."
I love John Boyega so much.
Yeah, that's an incredible moment. Freaking Finn defecting is a fun moment. I think that's a really underrated moment as well
The
between Finn and
sanitation.
Poe. Yeah,
Sanitation? That's not how the Force works. So good. So good delivered.
yeah. It's so many moments. Obviously, the Kylo and Rey fight to me is still the biggest highlight. Their final confrontation, her closing her eyes after he says the Force. And she realizes what the Force is, and she whispers back to Force, and then she closes her eyes and connects to it, which is that reminder of what Maz Kanata was telling her. That whole thing just was
How many
absolutely
think pieces
beautiful.
came out from that vision, though? Can we be honest with ourselves?
Oh wow, that vision was amazing. It was crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. The fact that you could hear freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi's voice. I mean, that was
And they
one of the
brought in
biggest
Ewan
things.
McGregor to do the end. Oh,
Yeah,
so good.
that whole vision sequence, the Empire Strikes Back thing, it was just amazing, beautiful stuff. I really do I really do treasure those experiences. What I meant to say. Of watching those movies for the first time, because I do feel like there's something so magical
do a
about
10th
it.
anniversary screening.
Oh, I was pissed. I wasn't even sad. I was so mad.
Like they
I
do
was
for everything
legit,
else. I was
tweeting
like,
at
okay,
Star
here's my
Wars.
time.
I literally
Here's my
tweeted
moment.
at them. I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" I was so mad. I had like 5 episodes about it. So yeah. Force Awakens is such an amazing movie. I really do hope they do something for it in the future, because I do think it's so underrated. So, Lacey, thank you so much for your time. This was so much fun. I appreciate
anytime.
it. Yeah, where can everyone find you, Lacey?
People can find me on social media at Lacey Gilleran, and on the Resistance broadcast, which is Thursdays, Fridays for audio, and Nerdy and Nice, our pop culture show, on Mondays. But yeah.
Awesome. And then obviously, real quick, when it comes to Nerdy and Nice, do you guys do that on Thursdays as well?
We record it on Thursdays, but it comes out on Mondays.
On Mondays. There you go. So make sure you guys check that out. Obviously, follow Lacey everywhere she's at. You can follow me at Squad Leader Ace on social media. Make sure you subscribe to First Cut if you haven't done so already. And subscribe to, we just created, Lacey, just so you know, our new Star Wars channel. We decided that Sabacc the Block could be better as its own channel. It currently has 5-6 subscribers. So there's no one there. But if you get a chance, please subscribe to Sabacc the Block as its own Star Wars channel. I want to put more Star Wars centered content and just make an own YouTube channel. So make sure you guys subscribe to that and follow me everywhere on social media. RB3, where can everyone follow you, man?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3. And we have merch now. And we have merch for Sabacc the Block.
Yep.
Make sure you get your merch game up. That's going to be tagged in the description after the episode is uploaded, because they don't let me do it for live episodes. But check the description for tagged hats, hoodies, t-shirts, Sabacc the Block. Get it right.
That's right. Thank you so much for that, man. And obviously, guys, for the Sabacc the Block crew, we're going to be peacing out. So peace. Deuces.